Hey, Dad.
Hey, Matt, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I am well, but I'm very tired.
I bet. Welcome to our listening audience. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Discussions with Dad, Faith, Blood, and the in between. And there's a lot of in between.
And this
As
is Dad.
always, yeah. As always, I want to remind our audience of our core promises. Even when we disagree, we will practice patience and love over certainty. We will tell the truth with care, and we will listen to understand, not convince, convert, or prove wrong. As always, we like to remind people that we are not experts, even though we try to pretend like we are and we think we have it all figured out. This is just a father and son conversation, which we think a lot of different opinions, and a lot of times they're in line, and a lot of times they're not in line. And we are having this conversation in the hopes that we will spark discourse between other family members and our community at large. So thank you for joining us, Dad. This is our first live podcast in a month. We've been a month off, even though we had episodes. We pre-recorded them in April. So
Right.
You just got back from Run the Wall. Do you want to fill us in about how that went?
Run for the wall. 7,500 miles, 25 states, 31 days. I left here, as you know, I left here May 5th, went to California, saw you, left Ontario to Washington, D.C., got to D.C. on the Friday before Memorial Day, went to the wall and did our honoring of all the Vietnam veterans and all of the MIAs and KIAs and POWs, and got that done on Saturday. And then Sunday did a few things around Sunday and Monday, a few things around Washington, D.C. And Tuesday we headed for home and didn't get home until last Thursday
I
night.
like it.
Yeah.
Last
So it was
Thursday
great.
night.
Wonderful thing. Really good cause. Run for the Wall is excellent for our veterans and
Yeah.
and our active duty and veterans from all wars, not just Vietnam, but
Is it
specifically.
I know that it rallies community, because in all of the little towns and cities that you stop in, someone from either the VFW or a church or somewhere local
American
provides
Legion, Elks
food.
Club. Yeah.
Okay, so I know that it's to raise awareness. Are you raising money as well? I never asked you that.
Yeah, they do. You can go to our Run for the Walls website and donate money, but we also raise money um, during the ride, and we do it for Rhinell, a school that we stop at, and we give all that money. Not all of it, but I guess they give a whole bunch of money to Rhinell, which is a school that it's a long story how they started stopping there. When I first did it, which was 3 years ago now, America, like me and you discussed many times on this podcast, America is different, and you think America's in great decline, which in some ways it is, but also when you ride through these communities and see how much and how many different people love America still and want
Yeah.
America to succeed, it brings you hope. And also, like I said, it's for an excellent cause. It's to honor our veterans, all of our veterans, all of our active duty, but to bring special attention to POWs and MIAs that are still POW and MIAs from Vietnam and Korea, um, and I think even World War II. So yeah,
Wow. That
it's a
would make
wonderful thing.
them
It's a great
in
cause.
their late 90s,
Yeah, yeah.
and they're still being held.
Yeah, I know. I believe that there's missing in action from World War II
Oh,
and
okay.
and obviously not POWs. I
Right.
wouldn't imagine, but definitely missing in action.
Okay. Well, so this episode June is Father's Day month, and
Hey,
we had a good
hey,
laugh yesterday, off camera, off recording, when you tried to tell me, based on something that you heard from a DJ on the radio, a radio jockey, saying that Father's Day was like the 27th celebrated holiday. It was
21st,
like so
21st.
far
Yeah,
down the line. Well, we did our own
research.
search engine, and from two different, one was ChatGPT and one was Google. uh, we found Father's Day to be much higher up on the ladder, but still under
But
and been below
disappointingly,
Mother's Day.
right, disappointingly below Mother's Day, and a couple other ones too.
So it's a good
Right,
idea that I had to let this first June episode of our podcast be in celebration of dads and fathers and those people who act as father for a lot of people, or for those people without a father, whether biologically and or someone who came in and stepped in later in life. So the reason I wanted to do this episode mainly was, I like having discussions with you, and I had questions that I wanted to ask you, and Father's Day seems like the perfect day to ask some of these questions. The other reason I thought this would be a really good conversation to have during the month of June is because I know you and I feel very strongly about uh, specifically the underserviced communities, and I know that you have a very strong opinion of why they are the way they are, and it involves a lack of a father. So I definitely want to in this episode get into that conversation, and I'm just curious, what your solution would be. But before we do that, I wanted to ask you, um, because the title of this episode is when protection becomes control. So, and I think that that's a big part of where and why we are where we are in terms of our American political machine right now. In many ways, the media tried to act for a long time as our protector, warning us, right? And obviously the free and fair press is very important to American democracy. I believe in the American free press. We have this podcast. We are speaking freely and sharing opinions freely.
right.
When do you think the greater collective, if we want to call it the government or whoever the governing body of a community of people is, when do you think protection becomes control?
I think I can't speak for every country in general,
Right.
but in our country, I think it immediately happens anytime one of the rights that are given to us by the Bill of Rights and by the Constitution are are in jeopardy or being trampled on in any way, shape, or form. Then I think that's when it becomes dangerous and controlling. And whatever that looks like, whatever political parties um, in power, you know.
And so, can you give me a specific example in your lifetime of a moment where you felt that the with the protection of the community, the greater good of the community was supposed to do, became controlling?
Oh, our gun laws in Colorado right now, what they're trying to do in Colorado right now, and obviously they've already got shot down twice that it's gone to the Supreme Court. So I know that they're wrong,
Okay,
but
so
they're
for the
still
for the
trying
listening
to do it.
audience, what is the protection? What is the principle of protection or the guise of protection that they're presenting these gun laws under?
That if they put those laws in effect, it will save, it will protect the people.
And
That's
what are
their
the
guy.
laws that they're
Oh,
implementing or
there's
that they're
been many,
proposing?
Matt. There's been many. It started
Give
with
me an example of one.
um, uh, well, the so called semi-automatic assault rifle,
Well, why do you call it a so-called?
because because it's not. There's no such thing as an assault rifle. An AR, it doesn't mean assault rifle. It never did mean that. Um, and the premise of that is the people who abide by the law, when they put those laws in place, I have to abide by it.
Mhm.
Um, and so the law-abiding citizen is penalized, whereas the non-law-abiding citizen, the gangster, if you will, they don't care about those laws and they still use everything that they have, and I can't have them. And I just think
What do you
I think
mean?
that's very
Okay,
silly.
there's so many things I have to just question and we have to like clarify. First of all, I mean, Al Capone was a gangster,
Right.
but Al Capone
Let's say the
worked with
bad
the
guys. Just say
government.
the bad guys. Just say the guys. Don't gangster was a pun. Just say the people that are breaking the law using a weapon. Let's
Okay,
just put it that
so
way.
So first, let's go all the way back to you saying that an AR is not a semi-automatic assault weapon.
It is a semi-automatic
What
weapon. Yes.
what was it designed for? What was the purpose and design? Do you know who designed it?
The AR.
Uh-huh.
I don't. I don't.
Do you
And
do you know
I wouldn't
when
want to
it was
speak.
presented into circulation in terms of on the legal street, like when it was
I don't.
introduced?
I don't. I can't tell you when that took place. I really can't. I mean, they've been around for a long, long time. Let's just put it. AK-47's been around a long time,
An
and that's
AK.
a type. That's a type of a weapon, but it's a foreign weapon. It's not an American-made weapon.
I'm gonna look right now because we don't have a producer, and if we had a producer other than you and I, we would
Or
have someone be putting this into our ear, but we don't. So, when was a semi-automatic rifle?
semi-automatic's been around a really long time, but an AK, I don't know, or an AR-15, I have no idea.
So, semi-automatic rifles, early 1900s, 1880s.
Yes.
Whoops.
Yes.
Don't forget to silence your cell phone, Dad. That would be embarrassing if your cell phone went off in the middle of a podcast. On the other side here, I don't know if you can hear, but outside of my recording studio, I have what sounds like there are fire trucks, and I'm sure you can't hear this on the recording, but all I could think about was an episode of 30 Rock where they were walking downtown in a fictional area of New York City where one of the characters was allegedly supposed to live, and there were like, speaking of assault rifles, there were assault rifles being shot across the street from one another,
Right.
and bombs, and it was like a satire on like the Lower East Side of New York or whatever. And the punchline of the joke is, where are you right now, little Chechnya? Isn't it alive? And it was like, obviously, just
Right.
but that's
And
what I
really,
feel like.
the AR, we're talking about the AR, but that I mean, it's a good example, but it's also a bad example because now the latest one that they're doing is any semi-automatic.
Well,
You
okay,
have to go to a
so
special
thank you.
class.
So getting
You
back
have to
on
go.
track, the
Yeah.
reason I asked this question is because can we agree that it was probably designed not for hunting an animal, but more for warfare?
No, not the semi-automatic. It was originally for hunting an animal. Yeah, they
You
used
don't
it
think that there
semi-automatic
was
shotgun.
that it was a two-in-one kind of invention, that we could evolve the idea of a gun not just for sport or hunt, but for warfare? You wouldn't agree with that statement?
Well, I think that a lot of things came from warfare that made
Uh,
its way into the
I
private
not
sector.
Dad, you do this sometimes. I agree with you. A lot of things did come from warfare, and we would have to. I mean, that's biblical. You and I read the Bible. I know what warfare looks like from the dawn of the birth of man. But what I'm asking is
You didn't
specifically,
take the bait, son. You didn't take the bait. Good
no.
boy.
What I'm asking specifically is, the a gun evolved with the intent of hurting or
Yeah, I'm sure.
killing
Yeah,
faster.
yeah,
Okay.
of course.
So all my
I mean, there are
question is,
some people that don't use it for hunting and just like to go to the range. And I have a good friend, very good friend, that has all kinds of them, and he's never hunted in his life, but he really likes long distance shooting. He shoots the range. He shoots for competition. There's several people who
look,
do that. But
as
yeah,
someone who continually says that I am an advocate for the United States of America, and I believe in the people that framed the founders of our Constitution, the way that we came upon this land, I'm not going to argue someone. It may or may not have been right. It probably wasn't right. I don't think any land is ever conquered correctly. However, that being said, when this land was turned into and developed as the United States of America from people literally running from a tyranny and a tyrannical government
right,
in the United Kingdom, and more importantly, control of religion to this country, the two things that should be a no-brainer for me are: you should be able to speak your free mind in this country. You should be
yeah,
able to, and that means practicing whatever religion you want to believe in.
that's right.
Honestly, just because I completely disagree with it doesn't mean that it shouldn't be something that if you want to do, you can do. Uh, and because of the laws in Great Britain when our country was founded, the right to bear arms against a well-armed militia, right?
No,
That part,
the right to bear arms, to be a well-armed militia.
to be
The
and or against.
No, not
If the
against the
government,
government.
right?
Against the
Well, the
militia would
government
be
becomes a militia if the government
no,
is attacking their own people. Yes,
no.
they
You'd
do.
have to read the amendment, Matt. It's really
No, I'm
it's
not arguing over the semantics of the amendment. I'm saying a
right.
government can be a militia just like the body of the people they're governing can be a militia.
In actual definition, the government isn't a militia. The people are a militia.
If Trump turned to the United States Army and directed them to go after any American who whatever he pick a whatever he wants to say,
Right, right.
and men and women of the United States Army do it, they are no longer acting as the men and women of the United States Army. They become a collective of militia. If they turn against their own people based on the whim of a leader, we have to vote to go to war. That's why we have
We don't
three
vote to go
different.
to war.
We're supposed to.
No, Congress declares war if we declare war. Congress does that.
But there's a
We
there
don't
should
vote
be
for it. We vote for our congressmen who do that.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Clarification. I'm not saying me, Matthew Schaefer, gets to go into a ballot box and decide if I want to go to war with
Right.
Iran or
Right.
not. No.
Right.
But the people that we elect, our elected officials, go in and they're supposed to sit and look at the facts presented. I remember before we went into Iraq in 2000 after September 11th, the Congress and the Senate, they all sat together and they decided whether or not we should invade a country, and based on the intel that we had at the time. So my point is this: if our military goes rogue, they become a militia. That's all I'm trying to establish. They no longer are a governing
Well, it would be a
army.
faction of our military. I'm sure not all of them would do the
Right.
same thing. But really, a militia would be like if our military went rogue, the Colorado militia would be a group of us going against that military. It's kind of like the militia went against Great Britain. They really, yeah.
Okay, so
But anyways, getting way back to where we were, you asked about what right was being infringed upon.
mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what started this whole conversation about.
Yeah. No, I asked two questions.
I use a gun for example.
No, but I asked you under the guise, how are they trying to protect you?
Right. And it's the same thing with free speech. If they start keeping us because it protects a certain class of individual in our society, I'm not allowed to say something. That's the same thing. And that's a fine line. As you know, that's a very fine line.
I think I understood what you're saying, but and this is the part, and this is the question in the title of our episode. Like, when does the guise of protection become control? You're saying that
it could happen with guns or speech or.
Well, hold on, Dad. Let me finish. You're saying that right now the state of Colorado, the governor is proposing legislation that would try to control your gun ownership.
Yes, that's
are they stopping? Are they stopping a citizen who hasn't been in prison or hasn't been convicted of a crime and has no history of mental health on their in their medical history?
Right.
Are they stopping them from being a gun owner in Colorado?
No, not yet.
Okay.
No.
What you say, but you always do that. You always say not yet. But the answer to the question is a stricter gun policy that requires one more step isn't controlling you. It's
it does
controlling
controlling
people.
Me. It's making me do that. What would you call it?
They're not saying you can't own the gun, are they?
No.
They're not saying you can't own the ammunition, are they?
But they've put controls on it that
no
make it much harder for me to own a gun.
Okay, so would it be the same control that you're putting on legislating whether a woman can have an abortion if she needs it or not, when her doctor says you're going to die or the baby's going to die? We can save one or the other, but in this state we can't save you because we have to save the baby because we're not allowed to have an abortion.
Our state doesn't do that, so I don't know.
Your state doesn't do that, but states do that right now. So
Right, and
is that
Wyoming,
control or protection?
I don't. I can't say. I can't say that that's even a comparison because a life is being lost. That'd be like saying if you get caught murdering someone and they take you to the electric chair, is that control or protection?
No, I
Well,
don't. That is
to
not
me
the
it
same
is. Well, to
No,
me it's
no, it's not the same thing.
well.
Because no, wait, freeze.
First of
Time
all,
out. It's not. It's not. Hold on. Don't use don't use any other comparison. Just listen to the question that I'm asking. There is a mother who's in a hospital with her husband at her side, and the doctor is telling the two of them, I can save you or I can save the baby.
right.
Because the state that we're in, I have to save the baby, which means you're going to die. Say your goodbyes to your husband.
I don't know of any state that does that.
There are states that do that. I know you say that, but there are.
I
And
don't-
there are cases
Not when it
on
comes to the
file.
life of the
Okay,
mother.
okay, we'll table this and we'll come back to this when we have women on to talk about pro-life
Yeah.
versus pro-choice.
But I would
you're
say that would
wrong.
be control.
Just
But-
so you know, you've said that twice now on an episode of our podcast. There
Yeah.
are states that where the mom or the family had to choose between the life of the mother or the life of the unborn baby. There are. So
They got to
just know
choose that.
they had to
They got-
choose that.
They had to choose that.
There was no choice, really. I think the doctor had to save the baby and the mother died.
Okay. Like you said, table that because I don't
We'll
know.
table it. We'll circle back.
I
Okay,
don't-
so moving on. But now you see where I'm going with like,
But that would be control.
and this is the thing that, and Dad, this is the thing that I don't understand about my side right now. If I'm going to have a side, I really don't feel like I belong to either side. I really now more than ever feel like I am dead center, looking around a sea of people that believe a little bit of what I believe in every direction and don't believe some of the things that I believe in every direction.
Right.
That's kind of where I
Right.
think we are right now.
Right.
That
You are.
said, what I find so interesting is that there are people on the left that would rather have someone controlled that they see as wrong right now, but they don't see how it could backfire on them. So my question is, do you see how some of the legislation that the right is implementing or has implemented or wants to legislate might backfire on the cause of the greater good of what we're trying to do as a democracy, as a republic?
Well, sure it could. I would be ignorant to say that 100% of the legislation that the right puts on the country is perfect for the country. Of
And
course
which
it could.
part of
And same
small
thing with the
government
left.
does the right want?
Pardon me?
Which part of small government does the right actually want?
Well, I think in general, the right is for smaller government in general. Now,
This is the same right that brought us Doge.
right. Yeah.
That was and like a lot of unorthodox spending, I guess I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I mean, that's what I'm just saying. Like, I wonder
I
if
don't have a
people
problem
like,
with that.
if people are stepping back, if they're like, if they feel as upside down as I do, that some of the things that are happening on the left, I'm like, that seems like a move straight out of 1980s Reagan playbook, and vice versa. But okay, let me get to the fun part, the Father's Day question. I kind of know where you stand on the control thing. What's the difference between guiding the next generation and trying to preserve the world exactly as you know it or knew it?
Well, yeah. I mean, in theory, we're supposed to guide the next generation, but obviously, and I did watch the episode. That you wanted me to watch.
Of Bill Maher.
About Bill Maher, right?
We can talk about Bill Maher. I'm not one of those people on the left that is afraid that people will shun me that I watch Bill Maher.
And I'm not one of those people on the right that are afraid that will shun me because I watch Bill Maher. Because Yeah, what an episode! What a great episode,
I
and
know.
how much truth of the matter, and maybe, but at the end when he said,
We'll
because you're
talk
talking
about
about the
give the audience, our listening audience, a little
yeah, go
like
ahead.
no reference what you're referring to.
Okay, so Bill Maher had an episode, this last episode. You sent it to me to watch. I watched it, of course, and it was all about what's happening with AI, and what could be the real problem with AI.
Hmm.
Uh, but I saw a glimmer of hope in all that. I mean, it was all about AI. It was all about the generation that's coming up next. And he
Hmm.
actually put the onus on them at the very end. He said,
Oh,
"Hey, you
that was
guys,
my favorite part of the episode.
yeah,
For two reasons. This is the thing. It was a call to action. I'm sad that the left stopped watching Bill Maher because he went and had a meeting with Donald Trump. Which, I mean, again, if we're ever going to get anywhere as a society again and be
got
a
to talk
great
about it."
country, we have to have communication with people that we disagree with.
Right.
And these are the same people that didn't want to go into Iran with bombs, but rather with diplomacy. So if you don't have diplomacy for someone sitting across the aisle, how are you supposed to have a diplomacy for a
We're a
dictator in
freaking whole
another
country.
country?
Yeah,
Right.
I
So
agree.
anyway, again, but getting back to the AI, where he left it in the hands of the next generation, and this does tie kind of in line with the question that I asked you.
It does.
He brought on all of these speakers that were speaking at all of at the graduation ceremonies, and they
Yeah.
all, when it came up one after another, they booed anytime AI and how AI is the wave of the future. These young minds are like, we just spent, well, our parents just spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on this education that we're not going to be able to recoup because AI is going to have taken our jobs. Well,
Right.
what Bill Maher does is he turns it on to that generation, and he's like, the baby boomers aren't trying to get in your way about AI. Neither is Gen X. Like, this is you. You get to decide if you want to lean into the AI or not. And right now, they're leaning into the AI.
They
TikTok
lean
is
into it
AI.
hook, line, and sinker. What
Right.
was the percentage of people that said in college, the professor and the student right now in
It was
college,
90% student, 78% professor ratio.
right, that used AI in their college career
Now,
in the
I
last
taught in
30
higher
years?
education, as you know, for a decade. And what
Right.
I will say is, it was, I mean, there were open forms of AI, but not anything like it is now,
Mm-mm.
because this was pre-pandemic. But you could always tell the students who wrote their own papers and the ones that used some sort of aid to help
AI.
writing their papers.
Yeah.
And so there will always be a need, and humanity right now more than ever, you can look at every film that's doing well at the box office. There will always be a need for art. There will always be a need for a human thought, not that's connected to an emotion or empathy
Oh, I
or
agree.
some kind of
I agree.
understanding. And AI, as much as they can simulate it, we know that it's still not it's not there.
Right.
But what it could do is get really angry and turn on us and sabotage our electrical grids or our financial institutions, and I don't know that we have any checks and balances on that. And that's kind of scary. Boy, as
Well,
I'm sitting here having this conversation, by the way, I feel like this is a real chicken noodle soup. We're throwing everything into this episode.
I know, but this is
I guess
part of it.
that's what old men do. On Father's Day, I guess you sit around and you talk. I think about
Yeah,
Grandpa
that's right.
Schaefer. Yeah.
That's right. No,
Go ahead. You
but
were going to say.
the thing is, it is a generational thing about teaching the next generation and what we can bring to the next generation. There's really nothing we can teach them about AI because I don't know anything about it. I used it I don't even know the first time I used it, but obviously I'm terrible at English. I'm terrible at spelling. I'm terrible at literature, although I love to read and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when it comes to me to write a paper, I'm terrible. And so I had to write a paper for our for Pioneer Day. I had to
Right.
write it's a grant, and I had to write a thing asking for money, and I had 3 minutes to do it in. I had a 3 minute presentation.
I know
So
what
I
you're going
wrote
to say.
my thing and I did it. And years before it was always just my thing. Well, this year I wrote it and I entered it into Chat GPT.
Yeah.
Okay. So I entered it into Chat GPT and it came back and I said, "Ooh, that sounds really good."
It's
And then
great.
I looked at it and said, "Well, cut that to 3 minutes."
Yep.
Boom, it came out again. I mean, what a wonderful tool. I stood in front of them. I read my thing. I sounded so intelligent, even though none of it really, the basis came from me. The
It's
facts
it's
came
it's a
from
cool
me.
tool, and if you know how to use it and you give it the proper prompts and you say, don't change this or it can be used for good. It can shave off time.
Yeah,
That's the problem. But it's also, don't forget, stealing from everything else. It's sourcing anything it can find to build a voice. Now, for example, like I'm a writer, and I could put in theory, I could put all of my stuff into ChatGPT or any OpenAI model,
right.
large language model, and I could say, remember all of this, and when I write an email, make it in my tone. Well, I've written so many emails, and I do use a form of AI when I'm sending out a professional email where I'll just have it go and proof everything. It knows my voice. My open AI knows my voice well enough now. My voice, my writing voice, I mean, not my actual physical voice,
Right.
well enough that it will not change my emails. But it took a lot of like shaping of that. That leads to the idea of the difference between this generation and what you're going to share with them. What are the things worth preserving? When if look at it through that lens, if AI is the wave of the future, and it will be, I'm sure, on it already is. I mean, we're using it in Amazon factories, and it's being
Yeah, did you
used.
see that robot that was sorting boxes?
Yeah, AI is being used. Then what then let's modify the question to, what's worth not letting AI steal away from us?
Yeah, yeah. The
Physical
heritage of
media.
America.
What, wait, say that again?
The heritage of America. I mean,
Well,
how do
so
we
like
preserve the
what? Like
heritage of America?
would you say, give me an example of something that you'd want preserved from your generation, something nostalgic?
Oh,
The art of
as
handwriting a letter, for example, or who does that anymore? I
no
do.
one, no one. Yeah, you still said postcards. I don't even do that.
I write a handwritten letter once a month to my niece. I've been doing
Right,
it since she was born because that's one of the things my sister established, and she's written three.
right,
She's
right.
15.
And she's 15. Now, one every 5 years. That's not bad. you know,
It's not great.
look at you have to look forward. No, I'll tell you. I think what the question really is: what can't AI steal from us? There's certain things they can't steal from us, and that I bring that up because the good portion of AI might be the fact, and Bill Maher touched on this, but he didn't go into it in depth. Is it might bring humanity together instead of being black, white, and brown or whatever we are. We're human. You're AI. We're together. We're against you.
Haven't there been, I agree, but haven't there already been things like that that should have done that and did for a little while, and then it feels
Yeah,
like we've
yeah, yeah. But
why do you
but a
think
common
why do you
cause
think
always
that is?
brings us together. A
But
common cause always. Go ahead.
why do you think we keep getting divided?
Oh, because there's a faction of our country that wants to be divided,
That
that makes
weaponizes
money off
that,
us being
uses it.
divided. Yeah,
For the longest time, I would argue with you. We would get in very, especially
heated
in my 20s.
discussions.
Yeah, very, very. I mean, we yelled at each other. We got angry, and I think about poor little grandma sitting there for
I know.
all of that.
I
But
know.
I argued with you adamantly that it's only one side that's the cause of that. And now, I guess, with either with age or with the onset of social media, you can really see when both sides are fabricating something to manipulate a group of people into believing that it has to be this way. Um,
Or the
now,
extremes of both sides.
yes, but I'm thinking more specifically, like, just how the right and left will get behind a narrative and push it. And I can't wait to have the episode where we do talk to people from the members from the friends of mine, hopefully will come on, from the trans community, because that's one of the places where I do think, the left and the right both like used that situation in a way that it distracted both sides from real things that needed to happen for their
Right.
parties to.
Right.
On either side, can you name a candidate that would be great for president on either side right now? Honestly, be honest.
Oh, I think Marco Rubio would be a great president.
Why? What makes him a great president?
I just think that
The
he's
way that
in
he
touch.
stands up to who?
Yeah, no, I think that he he's his own man. There's no doubt about that. He does work for somebody right now, but his thoughts and his ideas mostly match mine. And
Like
that's,
pro-life.
yeah, you know the four. We've talked about it a
So it
million
just comes
times.
down to those four.
Not always just
You're
those
excited
four.
about Marco Rubio?
Oh, yeah, I am.
I'm really going to get behind him. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
No
I'm
one
more
got
excited.
behind him the first time around.
Yeah. It wasn't his time. It wasn't
Okay.
his time.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Next question. I hear crickets.
Oh no.
Johnny Carson would go, oh.
Oh. Yeah, right.
Can fear make good people harder?
Oh, of course. Fear can cripple people. Totally cripple people.
Do you think that's where we are right now?
No, we're not crippled. Uh, but we're at a state of agitation that we shouldn't be in because of fear. I think that.
Do you think fear led to January 6th?
Yeah, to some extent. Yeah. Yeah, probably so.
I do
I
too.
I think I think the whole January 6th ordeal. Um, I think there was a few bad people in there. I listened to Glenn Beck the other day for the first time in a long time, and he even said there was bad people in January 6th that had no business being there, but there was a whole bunch of good people that shouldn't have gotten in trouble. But there were some people in there that was doing. I don't know if they were doing it out of fear or out of just maliciousness. Big difference.
I
Um,
think there were both. I
I
do.
think there was both. Yeah, I think there
I
was
think
both.
the good people that you reference and probably everyone on my side would be like there were no good people there. I'm not going to go that far and say that I don't think that there were good people. I think that fear takes what would normally be a concern and it magnifies it so big that you
Yeah,
get swept up and when you have a leader saying, get mad, get angry, get loud, and I'm whether it's Trump or Biden or whomever the leader is, when you
Maxine Waters.
whoever it is, get loud, make some noise. What they're saying is be angry and do things, but keep it in within the realm of a peaceful agitation. But when you're so led by fear, you're going to get swept up and you're not going to keep it peaceful. You're
Amped
not.
up,
Yeah,
amped
you're
up.
amped up.
Yeah,
So
I
okay.
agree.
um what
Fear,
does
fear,
we've
fear's a
kind of
bad thing.
covered? Huh?
Fear's a bad thing.
Fear's a bad thing.
Yeah.
uh do you think every generation makes discomfort for danger at some point, mixes, like, um they're uncomfortable, they mistake it? It's like this is an uncomfortable growing cycle for our country, but it's dangerous, we should avoid it. I'm talking specifically probably now to like people that would call themselves socialist democrats or whatever that party is.
Well,
What
they
is it?
better fear that because it's never worked anywhere in the world. Um, Socialism's not worked. It won't work. But yeah, I think every generation faces that challenge or a challenge similar to that. Of course,
What when you say socialism won't work,
won't work.
and give me
It
the
hasn't
main
worked
reason. I agree. I mean, yes, but give me the main reason why you say it won't work.
because eventually you run out of other people's money.
Yeah,
That's the simple bottom line.
that's the part that I keep getting stuck on too, is what happens, who's paying into, and what is the incentive for people to keep wanting to pay into it if they know that there's a whole group of people that are getting the same thing without any kind of
Without doing
effort.
it. Exactly.
For me,
It
it always
brings
comes down to effort and energy, an exchange of
exactly.
effort and energy. I would love to believe that a society could work like a commune where everyone has a job on the commune and does their job. I don't mean like commune in the sense of a cult. I mean like commune, like probably like what Jesus had. I mean, I would imagine,
Well,
or
they
any.
have kibbutz. They have kibbutz in Israel right now.
Well, yeah, no,
I
yes,
It's the
I'm
same
familiar with
thing.
that.
Is what you're talking
Right,
about.
right, right. But well, I don't even want to open that can of worms because that whole the
Right.
situation that's over, the conflict that's going on over there. I'm talking, I'm just speaking from practical, like just in terms of exploring the idea of a socialist or a social democratic country. What who keeps like, does the government keep printing the money? I mean, it's not like we're not printing money right now that we don't have.
Right.
But I
Yeah,
guess
no, it's
right now people are incentivized to work so that they can become a millionaire or a billionaire.
not
Uh,
I don't want to be a millionaire or a billionaire. I just want to be able to do the things I like to do, which is not needing to be a millionaire or billionaire. Just travel a little bit, play golf a little bit, fish a little bit. Really, you know, I don't need to be a millionaire to do that. Obviously, I just got back from 31 days on the road, and I'm far from a millionaire.
oh darn! I was hoping that was one of the indicators that I thought, oh, he's good. He
Yeah, you're in for a huge disappointment.
No, no, no.
Um,
I figured it out when you were staying at Motel 6 and not the Ritz.
oh, I stayed at one Motel 6. Oh, I shouldn't say
We
that.
shouldn't say that.
That
Yeah.
was a bad Motel 6.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
all Motel 6s are bad, but
I know
that
they're
was
a
a
good
really
chain.
bad Motel 6.
We're not knocking Motel 6.
No, we're
This
not,
is
because some of them are really
this
nice.
is all alleged and these are our personal opinions.
That's right.
But you
Yeah.
weren't staying at the Ritz Carlton. Let's just put it that way.
No, never did I stay at the Ritz Carlton.
It wasn't like you called me and you were like, "Hey son, come meet me at the Four Seasons."
No, that's right.
That was
We'll have
just
brunch.
those were just like the childhood fantasies that I believe.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. Let's see. What kind of country do you think fathers are trying to leave behind?
A better country. I heard a quote the other day that really, 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 really touched me, and it was something to the effect that said, "Your father is probably the only man in your life that wants you to be a better man than he is."
Can you I love that. I don't know that feeling because I don't have a kid, you know.
Yeah,
But
my
can you
dad
elaborate
wanted
on
me
that?
to. Huh? Yeah, my dad
Can,
wanted me to be a better man than he was, and he taught me stuff and told me stuff to help me become. And I don't know if I made it to be a better man than he was, but he wanted me to be a better man than he was. And of course, when I had you, everything changed. Everything changed. You know, um,
right.
my focus, and as you know, my focus totally changed,
Right.
and that was a good thing. It was a good thing, and I always wanted you to do and be better at everything than I was. And so I think every father feels that way about their child. I wanted that for you. Well, I would think that father wants to think the same thing about the country. I wanted the country to be a better country, you know, for you to live in than it was for me. And that's hard because right now I don't think it is for you. I don't think it is for you. I think, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's harder for you right now, especially to get housing, especially to get, I mean, me and your mother struggled. We struggled hard. When we got married and you were born, we had a 66 Thunderbird and a 66 Jeep pickup. And that was 1977. So both of them were 11 years old,
I was
right?
born in 78. Please do not age me.
No, but I mean, it's
Oh, okay.
1977 when we got those cars.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't get your mom's first new car was a Ford Fiesta.
Well,
I don't
okay,
even.
so yeah,
So you,
I
you
hear
know
what
where
you're
I'm going with that. You see what
yeah,
I'm
I
saying?
hear where you're going with this and I love that. And first of all, you know, I agree with you that I think from just looking at the patterns of people that I see in my life, you and grandpa and my mom's side and um
Yeah,
you
Grandpa
know,
Smith wanted the same thing. Grandpa Schaefer wanted the same thing.
yeah, I definitely see that. You said some things are harder and you talk about the housing and things like that. Yet you stand for capitalism and capitalism is part of the reason why affordability and housing isn't sustainable now. What is your answer for that? I'm curious.
Well, I think we live in a society that there's so much people trying to mix socialism in with capitalism that it's caused problems instead of pure capitalism.
In
Um,
what way in the housing market specifically?
Well, because how much money do you think of my taxes and your taxes go to subsidized housing or rent control and stuff like that? It's not a true capitalistic market. It's the government stepping in, thinking they can help, and they don't help. They make it worse. And usually
So
nine times out of ten they have.
But then from the other side of it, the people that have hundreds of millions of dollars are scooping up single family homes across the country and renting them and jacking up the price of it. That's
That,
capitalism.
but again, the inflation that we have is a direct cause from the government, and that's because the government, just like you said, is printing money and spending money they don't have, and they're spending it on programs that are not capitalistic programs; they're socialistic programs, and that's where that
I
whole
mean, they're spending money on things other
all
than
kinds of crap, yeah, that
yeah,
they shouldn't be spending it on. Exactly.
right.
And
Okay.
I think that if the government wasn't, I think if the government in general was not in so far in debt and causing all the problems they've caused by being in debt, including that huge, um, we just went to 4 point whatever inflation rate again. The inflation rate is killing you guys' chance to own a home. You know,
Mhm.
I paid in California. I don't even know how you drive because gas is $6 a gallon. It was
Mhm.
more than that in the high desert. I can't. I think premium was almost $8 a gallon
I
in
mean,
Barstow.
the audience, the listening audience is begging me to be like, but this is Trump. This is the president that said we wouldn't be in war, gas prices would be lower, inflation would be gone.
Yeah, well, then he's going to have to turn it around real quick. And besides that, that only happened when he went into Iran that it got so bad. Now the inflation, he's been fighting. He's been fighting with the feds since he got in office to drop the interest rate, and they haven't done it.
But the
So
feds won't drop an interest rate until they see that there's not a volatile market.
why are the feds smarter than everybody?
Well,
Is the two guys that
I'm
run the
not
Fed?
saying they are or aren't, but the
That's the
way that our
problem.
the way that our Federal Reserve and the way that our market and the way that our country does its commerce is based on what these group of private men do in a private room.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of that that's happening. You're right, and that makes it harder on you guys. But getting back to the whole question that you asked me,
Okay.
obviously, um, unless you're a very selfish father, you want it better for your children than it was for you. That's what you want, and I don't know that in ways we've achieved that. In ways you enjoy things better than I had in
Yeah.
ways, but in some ways you don't. And maybe it's just maybe I'm expecting too much change in 49 years, or 48 years.
Well, I think for me, as I approach, you know, middle age, or I'm middle aged, and as I approach like
You're
looking at
middle aged,
50, yeah.
yeah,
But as I look at like what 50 is and what I thought it might, I don't think I ever really thought about what 50 was, to be honest. I thought grandparents were like in their 50s, maybe when I was a kid. I thought I knew that by 40 I was going to be something. And I don't really think I don't think as kids you don't imagine really far beyond that, even those that are thinking about the future, which I definitely was one of those kids that thought about the future. But as I
right.
look at 50, I'm looking at there is so much more that I don't know than there is I do know. There's so much more that I'm ready to be curious about in a way that I was ready to be certain about before. And there are things that confuse me about the way that we proceed, knowing what our past was and why we continue to make the same choices. But
Right.
I also say never has there been a time when I think people have access to whatever kind of truth that they want to buy into. So if you're looking from a strictly capitalist point of view, I mean, social media has made it so that everyone has a voice, everyone has a platform, everyone can exert their First Amendment right. Everyone, but what's happening is we're not listening. We've just stopped listening.
People are talking. You have the right to free speech, but no one listens.
Yeah.
Yeah. What good is free speech if no one listens to you?
I the other day,
Think
I'm not
about
going to
that.
say who, but I was talking to a friend of mine, and they were talking about their kid was talking about how they want to go to Tokyo Disney, and that it's less expensive to go to Tokyo Disney than to go to regular Disneyland. And this was I saw this meme. I knew the meme that they were referring to. It's floating around
Right.
Instagram and all the things. So I was like, this can't be true. Like it really can't be true. And you go and you look it up, and of course it's not true. I mean, the flight and the hotel and the ticket alone, it's way more than the cost of
Right.
And this was all broken down on a family of four, a mom, a dad, and two children, on a 3-day stay at Disney California versus Tokyo Disney for 1 day. Okay. So there's always more to the story. But my point is, we've stopped questioning the more to the story. So when you say that, you wanted it, fathers want to leave the world better for their kid, and you want your kid to be better. I know that that's what you want. I don't know that that's what every dad wants. I don't know that that's what every uh I don't know that that's the objective of every person, because if it were, then why would certain people make it so hard for, like you said, the Federal Reserve, but I'll use just like, why would banks make it so hard for young families to get a mortgage? Why
Right.
will they continue to give bogus mortgages to people that constantly declare bankruptcy? Like,
Right.
things aren't level right now.
No,
And it
it's
and it
not.
really and it really is based on a socioeconomic ladder.
It
And
is, but I think the majority of the problems we have in this country right now, number one, like I said, our national debt's causing havoc. It's
yeah.
causing havoc, and it's got to come down. But also the waste. If we could stop just a portion of the waste and put it towards, I really believe if we could get rid of all the waste and fraud that happens in the government, that we could have medicine, socialized medicine, or medicine
No, I
for
mean, we
everybody.
could. And Dad, this is another place where my listening audience, anyone that's on the left or doesn't, would say, but Trump promised that. That was something Trump promised. And I
Right.
don't want to turn this to I want this to be a Father's Day episode, not a like.
Right.
And also, I'm someone who, I am finally at the point where I'm done talking about Donald Trump. He's our president for the next 3 years. He's I'm gonna
Two
Hopefully
and a
he's
half.
gonna do well for our country. He's gonna get us out of these situations that we're in, and we're gonna move on with two new candidates, in 3 years time.
Yeah.
But
I hope he does wonderful.
all of these things that you just brought up, these are things that Trump ran on, of getting rid of, like cutting the fat,
And I think
trimming this,
he's
getting rid of
trying.
that.
I
Where?
think he's
Give me
trying
one
desperately.
example of where you think he's trying.
Well, exactly the things that we've talked about. He's
The border,
definitely
yes. I'm not going to argue the border. He
the
secured the
border
border.
was the first and foremost thing that is going to help us in the long run. If it stays that way, that will help us in the long run. The fraud, they're going after the fraud completely, as much as they can. Go after the fraud. I think that will help. And let's face it, whether we want to admit it or not, or whether we like it or not, I don't care what side of the fence you're on, Iran had to be dealt with. And every president since Reagan has said Iran needs to be dealt with.
I I
And no one had the nuts to do it, and he does. And
I don't
that's
know though. Did you listen to the other clip that I sent you, regarding that specific situation? I mean, right now as it stands, we're in worse shape than we were when before he sent in, and
oh, I
before we
disagree. I disagree. We're
well
paying
we,
we're paying the price for the oil. That's basically it. But
so
Iran
what is
has
our leveraging? What is our bargaining power now that we have? What is our
we're
bargaining
getting
chip?
yeah, our bargaining chip is they're losing $500 million a day.
We're
They-
probably losing that, and Trump is losing the American electorate. So, I mean, I don't know that this was a great idea. And
I don't think he's losing the American electorate.
his
I think
his approval rating,
yeah,
and this was on Fox, is like lower than it's ever been, in the 30s. My point
right.
is this: he, from all the experts, but on the right and the left that I've listened to, and all the people that consulted, all the presidents on the right and the left, they all say we're in worse shape now because the airstrikes didn't work. There wasn't a regime change. The people didn't overthrow the government. They still controlled the strait. They're not going to open the strait. They're going to continue to lose money so that we
No, they don't
have
control the strait.
discourse.
The strait, they don't control the strait at all. That's
Who
that's
does?
not true. They don't control the strait. Number two, they don't have any chance of getting a nuclear weapon while he's in office ever, because every time it comes up, he's going to bomb the places that do it, and so
Well,
will Israel.
apparently they have like a certain amount of nuclear grade
Enriched uranium.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. How'd they get that?
Well, they've had that forever. They had that because 2 regimes ago they let them have that. Okay,
Okay,
and
so on
I
that point,
imagine
that was the conversation that in the clip that I sent you, our former UN ambassador, she claims that we're going to basically, in order to get any kind of negotiating, we're going to have to give them money, which is the
no,
same thing that Obama
that
did.
ain't gonna happen. That's what Obama did. That ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen.
Well, uh, so you see a way out of this that doesn't involve going to war, like boots on the ground war?
Oh, I don't think we'll put boots on the ground.
Well, what? Okay, let me ask you this, Dad. What's going to be different than what has been done in the last 6 weeks?
What's going to be different is they've already lost almost all their missile capacity, almost all of it. There's a few rogue missile capacities left. It's almost gone, so they won't be able to launch missiles at Israel
So
here soon.
you're just saying they're just going to wear them down. But it's
They're
not just
they're
about Israel.
they're
What about the
decimating their
Strait?
country. They're decimating their country, and they've decimated their army. They've decimated it. You know,
So you
and
think this is
that's a
just a
good
Trump's just
thing.
going to ride this out and let
Oh,
them
I don't think
exhaust
you write it out.
whatever?
I think he has to make no. I think because of the electorate, he's going to have to do something here within the by the end of June, I would think. But
But what
again,
is he going to do?
what is he going to do? I think that they will finally come to their senses and say, okay, what kind of deal can we get? And the deal will be, we'll let you go back selling your oil. We'll let you use the strait, but you're not going to control the strait, and things like that. That's what's going to be the deal.
But
And
they currently control the Strait, so why would they give that
they
up?
don't control the strait. They
Who then?
don't.
Why aren't ships going through the
There's a
Strait?
there are ships going through the strait. We're
Not
exporting ships through the strait every day, but it's at a great expense. And also, what you got to remember is the only ships that are not going through the strait are the companies that are saying it's too risky right now for us to trust that escort getting us through the strait.
okay.
That's what's going on.
Okay,
Okay. That
we'll leave it. We'll circle back on the next episode because hopefully
yeah
we'll
yeah
know more and hopefully
yeah
it'll be resolved.
yeah. No, I
Okay.
hope it. But even if it
What did
just got
okay
rid of their nuclear capabilities, I'm happy.
okay. We'll leave it with this. I had two questions that I want to ask. Answer this first one quick. What did Grandpa believe that you no longer believe?
What did Grandpa believe that my
Yeah,
dad,
your
or
dad.
Grandpa Smith for that matter?
No, your
What
dad,
did
your
he
dad.
believe? What did Grandpa believe? Man, I don't know what he. I mean, it would have to be something philosophical, like
Yeah,
all men are good. Grandpa, I think Grandpa believed that more than I do.
I think Grandpa believes
Basically,
that all
people
men
are
are
good.
born good.
Yeah, Grandpa believed that basically humanity is good, and I believe basically humanity is bad. So
Okay.
that would be
Well,
one.
that's sad. Okay, well, we're not going to end on that note then.
Well, it's the truth.
What do you hope I carry forward from you?
You already have my work ethic. Uh, yeah,
Oh,
take my faith. Take my faith number one, and my work ethic. I'm 70 years old in a year and 4 months, and I'm still
yeah,
working. I'll probably
yeah.
work till I'm 70. Yeah,
You'll
I
probably
like
work
to
past
work.
70.
I hope so.
Well,
I,
thank you.
God
That
willing, I
makes
hope I
me
can.
I will say this. That makes me grateful to hear that you think that I try and that I put forth as much energy as I can in all of the things that I do in my life. I really do. So it's nice to hear, and I'm grateful that I have you. I want to take this time to thank you. And of course, I sent you a card that you're not allowed to open yet, but I'll echo some of the things that I've said in there. But on the record, I just want to say I know that I wouldn't have been able to succeed, especially in the entertainment industry, had it not been for your practical, all hands on deck, go get them, be fearless, trust God, and just put yourself out there in life, adventure, personality. And anytime that I thought I couldn't do something, you said just try it. Anytime I thought I wasn't good enough, you showed me that I was. And every time that I felt like giving up, you reminded me to just get through it. And once I'm through it, then I have an informed decision on whether or not I want to do something again. So, and you never made me do something I didn't want to do, which I was so grateful for. But you always made me stay true and stick to every commitment that I set out. Yeah, that I set out.
Even soccer.
To accomplish. Well, soccer, there were some good years in soccer where I did have fun, and then dance just, trumped soccer. But
right.
So I just want to say thank you for being the world's best dad. I love you, and I'm so grateful that we're doing this podcast.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. That makes me feel, that warms my heart.
Good. And to all the listening audience, all the dads and pseudo dads and grandpas and uncles and stand-in dads, we love all of you. We salute all of you, and we're grateful for all of you, and we're thankful to all of our listening audience. Until next time, please stay safe. Love you, Dad.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.